Hello everyone, this is Raja Ramesh and welcome back to TypeScript and Playwright Journey. In the previous video, we have learned about optional and default parameters. In this video, we will learn about function overloading in TypeScript. So what exactly is function overloading? It is a feature that allows you to define multiple function signatures for single function. So what do you mean by multiple function signatures? So if you observe at the parameters of any function, you are seeing the parameters might differ in either the number of parameters or data type of parameters or both, right? So that part is actually called as signature. So when we have a requirement to use our method with different signature, means I don't want to change the name of the method. I should keep only one name, but I should be able to call that method with different signature. Means either by changing the number of parameters or by changing the data type of that parameters. That possibility is actually called as function overloading. For example, the scenario is like this. We have a user and we are asking some input from user to provide either user ID or email of the user, and I want to fetch the user details from database. So in this case I have two options. One is to write two functions. When the user gives the user ID, which is number, I have to hit on one button and which calls a function which retrieves data based on the user ID. And I have another button, clicking on that gets the data from database based on the email ID provided. So here we are ending up with two functions, which is not suggested. And now I will maintain only one function called getUserInfo, and if user provides number based on that, or if user provided a string based on that, I should be able to get the data, but my function name should be same, getUserInfo. Let us see that as an example. Open Visual Studio, go to your functions demo.ts file. If not created already, create one. And as I said, the function name is function get user info. I will just write a function first and it accepts. Assume for now we accept only a string. So email, which is of string. And in the body, actually, I should have a logic to get the data of user using the email, but for now we are just using the console log statement. Console.log getting user details using email. Okay. And if you want, you can print your email. Got it? If we call this get user info by passing raja at email.com, and if we execute this, see, getting user details using email raja@email.com. But if we call this by providing an integer or a number 1 2 3, it will result in an error because this is not assignable to the parameter of type string, because we said get user info has one parameter and that should accept string only. Got it? So what we have to do now is we have to overload the function. Means we should say the system, you can accept either a string or a number. Now we will see how to implement overloading for this function. For that, first we have to provide multiple signatures like this. I just copied this line and paste it. So I have to provide this information. I have to provide all the signatures that I am going to expect from user. Got it? So it should accept a string and it should accept a number. So user should be able to call getUserInfo function either by providing a string or by providing a number. But if we see here, we got an error over here because let's try, I think, yeah, we have to provide a return type void here saying it is not going to return anything. I will tell you why this happened. because we need to change some strict mode. Based on that, it behaves like this. We will have a separate video on that, so that we'll get an opportunity to learn about that. We still have error because whenever we implemented this, we provided implementation only for this signature. We did not provide implementation. I mean, we did not say this will be a valid input while defining the function. So here we need to say the value provided by the user is a string, but it can be a number also. So now the error is gone. If they are providing number, it is not an email. So I just modify that as user input. Okay, so that it's not email, it is not confusing when we are reading that. And now we have to implement the method body, because earlier we had only string and we wrote this. Now we might have, so I just copy this first, this one. So now we have two cases. One is this one and other is this one, using user ID or some user number. Okay, and in that case also user input will be printed. So when user provides some string which is email, this to be executed. When they provide some number, this to be executed. For that, it is as simple as adding some conditional statements we already learned. If how we determine whether it is a string or not. So we have a special thing called type of user input. What it does is it will get the data type of the user input. So whenever user calls this function by providing something, then it will check the type of that, and if that equals to, maybe in brackets we can have number, then this branch to be executed, else we need to come to this. Okay, so if it is a number, we can, okay, this is email in, got it. So this is user ID. So if it is a number, we should process the code which handles the number input. And if it is a string, here we will have a logic to get the user data based on the string. And now we have these. So in these two lines, we have provided two signatures and we defined function or implemented that function saying it may accept string or it may accept number, and it is not returning anything. And we call this function using a string and number, and see, now we don't have any error. So clear this and run this. Alright, so first getting user details using email, because we provided email in the first calling line. Email in the sense I have provided a string. So string, it went to this branch and it executed this. And when this is executed, it is a number, so it went to this branch and getting user details using user ID 123. Like this, we actually overload a function. And now let us see overloading a function. I will just comment these two lines. Now we will have another function which we already written earlier, add, and it returns a number which accepts two parameters, a number, b number, and it adds those two and return a plus b. This is the function we already wrote earlier. If you remember from previous video, just to add two numbers, we wrote something like this. Right now we are just returning the value. Now if I call it using two numbers 10, 5, and we store this in some variable num1 equal to this one, and we log this to console using console.log of num1. you see the output as clear this, and this one 15 should be logged to the console, right? Because add is working like that only. We return a plus b only. Now I have one more requirement to add. Let num2 equal to add three numbers, maybe 10 comma 50 comma 10. Got it. So we have one more argument over here. Third parameter is there. Now I should get a value 10 plus 50 plus 10, which is 70, should be printed, and console.log num2 also. Got it. How can we achieve this? Means we can overload this add method, and similar to the above function, we can overload this as well in such a way, comma C number and implementation C number, but you make this as optional. Got it? So now if you run this, you will see, sorry, 60. Okay, we did not add C, but if we try to add this C here, we will get an error because it is an optional parameter, and we may have a chance that user will call with two parameters only. So we have to check that C is not undefined. If C not equal to undefined, then return A plus B plus C. Else return A plus B. Now if user passes C, then this will be executed because it is not undefined. If user passes only two values, then third will be undefined and this branch will be executed. If you see running this 15 and 70, we got this one. You may get one doubt, like why should we have multiple signatures when same thing can be achieved with either optional parameters, or this can be achieved in this way also, like by providing 0 as default value for this. But we are preferring overloading only. So is there any reason? Means there are some reasons. We will cover that as separate video so that it will be covered as some interview question as well. Because in most of the interviews, the panel may expect you to know the reason. They may come up with that question. Why are you going for function overloading when the same thing can be achieved using optional and default parameters? We will have that discussion in a separate video, but for now, like, this is how we write function overloading for different data type of parameters or different number of parameters. So the signature is changed in either cases. Okay, in next video we will come up with a new topic. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.